Motivation is a liar. There, I said it. You've been chasing motivation your entire life, waiting for it to show up, waiting to feel inspired, waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right sign from the universe. And while you've been waiting, somebody else has been working. Let me ask you something honest. How many times have you felt completely motivated on a Sunday night? You made the list. You set the alarm. You told yourself, this week is going to be different. This is the week I change everything. And then Monday morning arrived, and the motivation? Gone, vanished, like it was never there at all. Here's what nobody tells you about motivation. It was never supposed to stay. Motivation is a spark. It lights the fire. But discipline is the wood that keeps it burning. And if all you have is a spark with no wood underneath it, that fire dies before it ever becomes something real. Today I want to talk to you about why discipline will always beat motivation. And more importantly, how you build it starting right now. Think about the most successful person you know. The one who wakes up early, shows up consistently, keeps their word, builds something year after year. Let me ask you, do you think they feel motivated every single morning? Do you think they leap out of bed at 5 a.m. with a smile on their face, excited to do the hard work? They don't. And that's the secret they don't talk about. Here's what fascinates me about human nature. We look at successful people and we see the results. We see the achievement, the discipline, the consistency. And we tell ourselves, they must feel something I don't feel. They must have some extra fuel, some extra drive, some extra motivation that I was never given. But that's not the truth. The truth is, successful people have learned something that most people never figure out. They've learned that you don't wait to feel like doing the hard thing. You do the hard thing first, and the feeling follows. Most people live their entire lives backwards. They wait to feel motivated before they take action. But the people who win, they take action first. And the motivation shows up as a result of the action. Not before it, after it. Isn't that interesting? Let me be direct with you right now. If motivation worked, you would already be where you want to be. You've had motivation before, plenty of it. It came, it excited you, and then it left. And you were right back where you started. Maybe even further behind, because now you also carried the weight of another failed attempt. So let me ask you this. What if you stopped waiting for motivation entirely? What if instead of asking, how do I get motivated, you started asking a different question altogether? What if you asked, how do I build the kind of discipline that shows up whether I feel like it or not? That question will change your life. Write it down. Because the moment you stop outsourcing your performance to a feeling and start building a system that works independent of how you feel, that is the moment everything shifts. Let me share with you 5 principles I've come to believe are absolutely essential for understanding why discipline always wins. And more importantly, how you build it in your own life. Discipline is a decision, not a feeling. People talk about discipline like it's something you either have or you don't. Like it's a personality trait you were born with or a gene that some people carry and others were denied. That is completely wrong. Discipline is a decision you make before the moment arrives. It's the decision you make the night before, when you're comfortable and safe, about what you will do the next morning when comfort is no longer available. Motivation makes decisions in the moment. Discipline makes decisions in advance. And that is exactly why discipline wins. Write this down. Discipline is a pre-decision. It removes the negotiation. When you rely on motivation, every morning becomes a negotiation. Should I get up or sleep 5 more minutes? Should I do the work or do it later? Should I follow the plan or take the easy road? And every negotiation costs you energy. Every negotiation is a chance for the wrong answer to win. Discipline eliminates the negotiation. The decision is already made. The only thing left to do is execute. Motivation, peaks and valleys. Discipline is flat. Here's something fascinating about motivation. It operates on a cycle. It spikes when you watch an inspiring video, read a powerful book, or hear something that shakes you awake, and then it drops. Slowly, steadily, predictably. It drops back to baseline. That spike and drop cycle is natural. It's human. But here's the problem. If your output depends on the spike, then your output is unpredictable. Some days you do everything. Some days you do nothing. And the average of everything and nothing is mediocrity. Discipline doesn't spike. It doesn't crash. It's flat. And flat is powerful. Because flat means consistent. And consistent is what builds something real over time. Isn't that interesting? The secret to massive results isn't intensity. It's consistency. It's showing up at the same level on Tuesday afternoon as you showed up on Monday morning. That's the discipline advantage. Every time you override the feeling, you grow stronger. Your brain wants comfort. It is designed to want comfort. It conserves energy. It avoids effort. It pulls you toward the familiar and away from the difficult. That is not weakness. That is biology. But here is what changes everything. Every time you override that pull, every single time you do the hard thing, when everything inside you is saying stop, you deposit something into your discipline account. The first time you override the feeling, it costs you everything. It feels impossible. The 10th time, it costs you less. The 100th time, it becomes natural. Write this down. Discipline compounds exactly like money in a bank. Every deposit makes the next deposit easier. And one day you wake up and realize that the thing that used to destroy you barely registers anymore. That is what discipline builds over time. Discipline creates the identity that motivation never could. Here's the deepest truth I want you to understand today. Motivation changes what you do. Discipline changes who you are. When you're motivated, you act differently temporarily. You have a good week, a good month. But if the identity underneath never changes, if you still see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who can't follow through, someone who tries and fails, then motivation will always be temporary. Discipline, repeated over time, rewrites the identity. When you show up for the 10th consecutive day, something happens inside you. You start to think, maybe I am someone who does this. When you show up for the 30th day, you start to say it out loud. And when you show up for the 90th day, you no longer need motivation because you have become the person who does this automatically. Isn't that powerful? You don't build discipline through willpower. You build it through repetition until the behavior becomes the identity. Discipline protects you when life attacks, and life will attack. That's not pessimism. That's reality. There will be a week when everything goes wrong, when the pressure is high, the energy is low, and every reason in the world to quit will line up perfectly in front of you. And in that moment, motivation will be completely useless. It will have nothing left to give you. But discipline? Discipline will carry you through that week on autopilot. Because discipline doesn't require a reason to show up. It doesn't require conditions to be favorable. It doesn't require you to feel good or feel ready or feel inspired. It just requires you to execute the decision you already made. Write this down. The real test of your discipline is not who you are when things are going well. It's who you are when everything is going wrong. Here's what I want you to understand before we finish today. Every single day that passes is a day you either deposited into your discipline account or withdrew from it. There is no neutral. Standing still is not standing still. It's falling behind. 6 months from now, you will be somewhere. That is certain. The only question is whether you'll be somewhere by design or somewhere by accident. Whether you'll be the person who built something or the person who spent 6 months waiting to feel motivated enough to begin. Motivation will visit you again. It always does. But this time, don't let it leave without using it to build something that lasts longer than the feeling. Start the discipline today. Not tomorrow. Not after the weekend. Not when conditions improve. Today. Here is the final truth I want to leave with you. You are not someone who lacks discipline. You are someone who hasn't yet decided to make discipline non-negotiable. That decision is available to you right now, in this moment, not at the start of the month, not on the first of the year, right now. Make the pre-decision. Override the feeling once, then again, then again. Build the account deposit by deposit, and watch as the person you are slowly becomes the person you always knew you could be. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Not because motivation isn't powerful, but because discipline shows up every time, and motivation doesn't. The choice, as always, is entirely yours.